Hey, this is Aaron,
And this is Kristin.
and this is the Drive Mode Show.
Hey, Aaron, let's talk about the new 2021 Ford F-150 today.
Okay, let's pretend I don't know anything about it because I totally know all about it.
Of course you do.
I'll ask you questions.
Okay, deal.
So my lack of research turns into now I get to be the interviewer. So
It
Ford,
works.
Ford totally redid the F-150.
Yes.
Bunch of best-in-class claims and a handful of other things, plus an interesting you're camping and it starts to rain backup option. So, what are highlights? Like bullet list, the highlights.
A couple of the highlights that I thought were really interesting. One is the available recline flat front seats. And to me as a parent, I was thinking if I'm sitting in the pickup line at school when school goes back into session, or you're driving, taking a long road trip or something, you can recline the seat all the way back and lie flat. And I don't know about you, but just a slight recline, I can't sleep.
Yeah.
So that's really helpful to me.
That's my emergency camping backup.
That's right.
Now you can sleep in the truck.
That's right. I don't do tents anyway, so I'll be fine with that. The second highlight that I wanted to talk about was the interior work surface. So sometimes I have to work in my car, or maybe I have to record a video or something like that. It actually the way it configures, it has a flat surface in the console, so you can put your laptop or your equipment right on there and work. Now this is great for people on job sites, but it's also great for parents, people who work from their cars a lot, people who do a lot of traveling. I mean, it's really a smart feature that's modular and easy to use.
So that's a really cool feature because just a few years ago, and at the time, this was a game changer in terms of what a truck was capable of. I took a Ram 1500 in the tradesman package, so in the bottom end package, that had the upgrade. I just told the guy when I was talking to the PR at Ram Truck, I said, I want the work person's model. Like if I'm Joe Construction Guy, I want that truck. And so that's what they sent me. And it had one upgrade in the entire truck. And that only upgrade was the infotainment to include Wi-Fi. And they said that is the number one thing that people opt for in a work truck, so they have connectivity on the job site. And then I literally spent a day in that truck pulling up to just random job sites. I'm sure they were all looking at me like it's got to be some kind of undercover inspector, because I just pulled up to the job site and then literally set up my computer and worked in the truck as if I was the contractor, looking up some things, checking my emails, sending whatever, doing that kind of thing. And I just worked in the truck. And that was a game changer as to how I thought about pickup trucks as working vehicles. Ford is now on the next level, putting a desk in the truck.
I know, and it's really smart. I feel like Ford really listened to their customers with this new F-150. You know, they took some of the best suggestions that they got from customers and looked at the way customers are using it, and they implemented those changes into this truck. You know, they took I think they're really appealing to the loyalty of Ford truck buyers and upping their game.
Mm-hmm. And then next level from that, there's a new infotainment in this truck, right?
Yeah, Sync 4.
Awesome.
So there's an available 12-inch screen. And of course, Sync 4 comes with your connectivity, and it works really well. I think it's very easy to use, and that's key, because everybody has a different level of technology and patience and usability, right? So Sync 4 makes it easy to just hook it up.
Yeah, when Ford moved away from Microsoft with Sync 3, they really upped their game with infotainment, because before then it was very slow, clunky. The menu systems were terrible. It took forever to respond to things. And then with Sync 3 and now Sync 4, they're very highly competitive. So that's really cool to see. And then the way it should work in this truck, everybody's moving to 12-inch screens in their upper packages. That seems to be a thing. Ram did it. Now we have Ford doing it, and I'm pretty sure GMC does it. If they're not, they're gonna.
Yeah, I think so. I can't remember off the top of my head, but yeah, the 12-inch screen. I mean, when Tesla first came out with their vehicle with the giant screen, everybody was like, "What?" But now it's pretty standard to have a big screen, and I actually like the way it's integrated into the dash with the Ford.
Eyebrows.
It's all being recorded, so I can only lift my left eyebrow.
Now I'm just showing off. One of the changes with this is there are now 6 engine options.
That's right, 6 engine options, including the new 3.6 liter Power Boost. It's a full hybrid V6. So that's going to appeal to people looking for more efficiency with their truck.
So it's a full-on hybrid, like a what's the term I'm looking for? Not parallel, the other one. So it's an actual hybrid. It's not a mild hybrid or something like that.
Says it's an actual hybrid. Calls it groundbreaking. Of course, you know all the manufacturers call their new stuff groundbreaking. But it's the collective power of gas and electric, and it's an EPA estimated 700 miles on 1 tank of gas is the range. So that's huge.
Whoa. Even
700 miles.
With a tank, that's amazing.
I know. For a big truck, that is amazing, especially with all the other claims, you know, best payload, torque, horsepower, you know, all the new claims that this truck is going to have.
So that hybrid powertrain is number 6. That's the add-on, because they used to have 5. So I assume the other 5 are the same ones, the 3.5 and the 3.5 boosted, like in the Raptor, and then the 2.7 and so on.
Right, and then this is the new 3.6 Echo Power Boost is the new one.
So another thing that's not necessarily a powertrain thing is they added something that I think a lot of people who work with their truck, especially on job sites or go camping, would really like.
So yes, Ford's added a new feature called the Pro Power Onboard, which allows you to leave your generator at home. So people that use their trucks for work can use the generator to run power tools and such, which is super handy. Or if you're going camping, you can use your generator on board and you don't have to carry an extra one to power up your music, your air mattress, air compressor, whatever it is that you need when you're camping.
Yeah, you make the run to the beach. You could run the generator to run your sound system. Recharge the batteries on your computer. Run your whatever. I mean, that's a highly fancy thing, and it goes along with, speaking of using a computer and other things, there's something new with the tailgate that has to do with a work surface, right?
Yes, so the tailgate has some new available features like a ruler, and it has some new ways that people can work from their tailgate, and it's really smart. So they can lay out, let's say they needed to cut something, measure something, lay out maps. It makes it easy for people on site.
That's cool. I can't count the number of times that I've had a hunk of lumber, a sheet of plywood or something hanging off the back of the tailgate, and wish that I had some sort of straight edge or something else to use to true up a cut and make it fast and easy instead of having to bust out extra tools. Now, there's something else on this truck that was directly stolen from the new Bronco.
The built-in bottle opener. So one of my favorite pairs of flip-flops is a reef. And the reef has a little bottle opener underneath the shoe, which I think is funny and gross at the same time, that you'd open a bottle at the bottom of your shoe. But here on the truck, there are built-in cleats on the side of the tailgate, and you can just use it as a bottle opener. For your Topo Chico, of course, in Texas.
Of course. I mean, I loved how in the Bronco reveal videos, they were always opening like orange soda and, very obviously non-alcoholic drinks.
Of course.
When they did it. When we all know that it's going to be, Budweiser and Coors and maybe not Corona, it's the wrong atmosphere for that right now. But which is
Corona.
hilarious because I remember back in the day going camping and stuff when I had a orange Ford Ranger, and we would open bottles just on the tie downs themselves. I had those boat style tie downs, right? So they look like this, and we would just put it on the edge of that and smack. So
that's the old
those
school way.
are also tie downs, right?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, they've thought of a lot of really unique things, and it's a very practical, it's very smart, and I think it takes the quintessentially popular F-150 to the next step.
Mm-hmm. Well, and from Ford's perspective, the F-150 was starting to age, which is hilarious because it really wasn't that old. The current generation F-150 is only 3 years old at this point, 3 or 4, but their major competitors have all made big changes. So we've got a brand new Ram, we've got a brand new Chevy NGMC, and a pretty new Nissan now. And so out of the group, really, Toyota is the only one that hasn't had any major upgrades. And I think sales-wise, looking at the figures, the F-150 was starting to feel that heat. It was never knocked down from its number one peg or even close, but it was seeing a little bit of a decline, and I think Ford realized that they had to do something. And this looks like they did a lot. They didn't just let's catch up. They moved up to the next tier.
Definitely. They were looking ahead, and Ford has come out swinging in the last year. Between the Mach-E, the Bronco, and the new F-150, they are not backing down.
And speaking of the Mach-E, there is now a GT race version. Did you see that?
Yes. Let me get my hands on that.
So Ford has had an interesting opportunity here. So I'm surprised, but not surprised, that they went hybrid with the new F-150, because most of us were really expecting that they were going to announce the electric one. That's really what we were expecting, was the F-150 EV.
Right.
And with their partnership with Rivian and other things, that was really, I think what happened there, though, is Ford, first off, a fully electric F-150, that's kind of a thing unto itself. They would really need to do that on its own, not combine it with other stuff, because that would be a groundbreaking big deal. Whereas with a hybrid, they're showing, look, it's possible, and I think it's a good segue. It's a good step to show the really hardcore truck buy-in types that, look, it's a real truck. Just because it's electric doesn't, has electrics in it, doesn't mean it's not a real truck. And in a way, they have to overcome the bad news that was created by General Motors with their extreme flop hybrids that they did maybe 15 years ago, 10 and 15, because in their trucks, the hybrids that they tried with trucks and SUVs, they did terribly and gained a bad reputation. And now every truck maker, GM included, but every truck maker, in order to go to an electric, has to get past that.
If I had to choose between a hybrid and an all-electric vehicle, I would almost always choose the hybrid, because the ranges are much longer and you have a backup. I get range anxiety, and this way I know, I'll have the gasoline engine plus the electric motor, and I can go a lot further.
Well, and we both live in pickup truck country, and we see what people do with these trucks. I have a friend, in fact, who's not unusual in this area of Wyoming, who literally puts 100,000 miles a year on his truck.
Wow.
And that is pretty common here, to put 50, 60, 70,000 miles a year, because we're talking about huge, wide open spaces and people who own miles of land, not acres, miles of land.
Yes, I've definitely seen that in Texas. And for some of my husband's cousins that run stock and, they're ranching people, they're going to be using their vehicles to go long distances.
So your takeaway, is this truck going to remain number one? Is this going to stay as the top selling vehicle? Well, just trucks.
I think so. I think that Ford is thinking ahead. I think they've figured out how to appeal to the next generation with a hybrid. And I think that they are going to retain their loyal customers because Ford customers are notoriously loyal. So they're not only keeping the Ford customers that they have, but maybe bringing in some new ones, especially the new generation young adults who are going to be looking at trucks and trying to figure out which one's going to be best for them.
Mm-hmm. So the good news for the brand loyal crowd out there, which is about 40% of truck buyers, by the way, who will only buy their brand. The good news for you, if you are not a Ford loyal customer, is that Ford moving the game up means everybody else will too. So your Ram, your Chevy, your GMC, they're all going to have to compete with this eventually, and sooner than later. So it's good news when any of the truck makers or any automaker for that matter makes leaps like this, because it forces everybody else to go, uh-oh, and have to do it too. And that benefits across the board.
Competition makes you up your game. You're right.
Yep.
So I think Ford's going to do well with this.
Good news. So this has been Aaron.
And this has been Kristin.
And this was the Drive Mode Show.
Thanks for watching.
And subscribe.